wasn't those people, I think, it was somebody that,
You all set?
yeah.
Are you all set, Andy?
I am good whenever you're ready.
All right.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Thank you all for coming. Due to the COVID-19, in accordance with Governor Sunun's emergency order number 12 and pursuant to the executive order 2020-04, the Brentwood Board of Selectmen is authorized and will utilize Zoom for public access and participation in their public meetings. If anybody has a problem, please email Karen Clement. That's kclement@brentwoodnh.gov. Go.
Ready? Okay. Do the checks. I'm just gonna read these ones first, because there's only a couple. Matt Bergeron, $897.29. Charles Fitzgerald III, $56.23. Timothy Lindeman, $483.55. Carrie Mason is $123.70. And Kristen Patch is $497.80. Depends on how you want this first, Andy. Let's see, John.
I'll give you a day off. Thanks, buddy.
Until the next round. That's the worst one. All right, ready? Andrea Bickham, $636.14. Joseph Bird, $923.64. Katie Blazik, $800, $600.89. Kendra Brackett, $524.21. Gloria Mendia Becerra's, $367.79.
Thank you, sir.
Gabriel T. Burgess Labonte is $93.92.
Appreciate it.
Adnar Charmar is $1,153.72. Karen Clement is $1,098.37. Jeffrey Collins is $671.42. Katie Coppola is $126.06. Eli Corson is $86.91. Keith Corrigan is $374.43. Melissa Sanuski is $426.66. Michael Dam is $688.59. Keith Dennis Walls $174.54. Robert Gagnon is $580.79. Jason Gagnon is $486.89. Jason Grant is $564.47. Andrew Gray is $519.36. Alexander Hall is $944.78. Mary Lyons Hall is $116.36.
Nope, 1 second. Just checking. Yep, got it.
John Isabel is $229.12. Kip Kaiser $773.01. Joyce Keegles $525.04.
Yep.
Matthew Kelly is $846.58.
1 second. Do you see that one? Eagle. What'd you say? 846.58?
$846.58 for
Got it.
Matthew Kelly.
Yes, sir.
Erica Kenyon, $1,603.37. William Kenyon is $196.89. Kevin Nealand is $801.27. Albert Kazaka is $217.43. Julie Labonte is $968.81. Heather Lindsay is $640.86. Olivia Matthews is $174.80. Robert McCon is $179.71. Brandon Messina is $1,487.05. Aaron Mitchell is $135.17. Casey Newell is $3,111.56. Sarah Parkhurst is $434.10. Brian Raines is $1,106.08. Nathan Richard is $2,083.38. Wayne Robinson is $946.12. Stephen Forza is $988.20. Thomas Soda Kapolis, $64.64. Christopher Spitaleri is $1,748.88. Sophia Streck is $157.88. Charlotte Sullivan, $85.83. Katrina Tennant, $1165.58. Lydia Wall is $7019. Daniel Wicks is $1342.79. Janice Weirs, $779.19. Jeremy Worcester is $602.34. Daphne Wass is $711.27. Jared Ward, $1,404.99.
For a grand total of $36,742.07.
The grand total is $38,800.64.
It can all just go.
Together, we're good?
Yeah, that's all payroll.
All right.
Tell me when you're ready.
Take a break, John. Good.
Amazon Capital Services, $8.65.
Whoa. Here you go, John.
Hi, John. I told you. I
That
expected
was
this to
classy.
happen.
Those top three are just ACH payments that we made direct out of the bank account.
Here we go.
It's the 2 school payments and New Hampshire retirement system.
You have those right here.
All right, Amazon, $8.65, is that what you said?
$8.65. ASAP Landscaping and Design, $3,750. Ben's Uniforms, $232. Kendall Bracket, $65.97. Chapel Tractor Sales, $29.93. Comcast, $346.99. E&J Auto Parts 2 is $195.04. Eversource is $220.54. GKG Planning is $2,782.50.
Pause, sorry. Eversource, $220.54, GKG, $2782.50.
Yep.
Thank you.
Health Trust Inc., $29,758.22. Health Trust Inc., $93.75. Leaf is $124. James Michaud is $2,000. Neptune Uniforms is $9.95. Heather Worski is $1,054.72. New Hampshire Association of Assessing is $20. NHCTCA is $30. Starkey Welding and Crane is $1,515.75. Stratum Tires, $178.16. UniFirst Corp is $52.26. Valak is $246.45. WB Mason is
Two, what? I have
$246.45.
24645, yep.
WB Mason is $144.07.
For a total of $42,858.95.
We had a total of 12 hours of overtime in the PD, none of
The ACH checks, we had $198,000 for Swayze, $607,635 for co-op, $27,562.66 for New Hampshire retirement.
I know Bill's in the audience somewhere, I didn't hear him hit the floor.
We have two rec
Good
checks.
job, John.
I think he's gonna.
Two rec checks.
No, I don't.
Do you want to sign it? You only need 3 anyways.
Okay, Joyce, you're up.
Weekly treasurer's report. Previous balance, $2,915,524.77. Deposit, $64,140.94. Payroll was $38,800.64. Payroll taxes were $10,344.75. The AP was $876,556.61. With a payment to Swayze, $198,500, and a co-op payment of $607,635. The account balance is $2,053,963.71. Interest earned year to date, $1,253.26.
Thank you, Joyce.
Is everything at TD now?
Excuse me?
Is everything over at TD now?
No.
So we still have more citizens?
Yeah, exactly. Jonathan's still working on it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Building permit?
Building permits, you have Scott Bartholomew, 470 Route 125, plumbing for agricultural store. Jeff Bryan, 61 Lyford Lane, electrical for basement remodel. Richard Sheehy, 8 Sanborn Way, remove and replace house and garage roofs. Martin Flinders, 60 Mohawk Lane, extend existing deck. Kiki Donatwall, 32 Brook Crossing, install AC electrical circuit. Helen Smith, 321 South Road, temporary mobile home, May through October. John Blythe, 84 Mohawk Lane, finished basement. Walter Porter, 172 Pickpocket Road, has 3 permits for a new dwelling, an electrical permit to connect 200 amp service panel from the street, and plumbing to install 2 sinks and a toilet. 3 Ponds LLC, we have 21 James Circle, 23 James Circle, 25 James Circle, 27 and 29 James Circle,
Pass that one back around.
for rough and finish wiring new homes.
Nothing for Derek, anything in there?
Didn't see it, no. I'll check with you.
Yeah,
And then my-
cause he asked me about it, I'm assuming there's something probably missing.
Andy, you want to pass the folder?
Thank you.
Hoarding it.
Thank you.
Can we get a motion on the minutes?
Motion on the minutes?
Second.
Roll call vote. Jonathan?
If I may, just a quick comment. I was reading the illustrious Board of Selectmen handbook.
Yes.
You'll be very pleased to know, Mr. Christensen. It does point out that,
My wife calls me Mr. Christensen. but you can call me-
I know that feeling. It points out in 91A, RSA 91A, that we're supposed to, every person that comes before the public body and speaks is supposed to be put into the minutes, a brief summary. And so I'm pointing that out. I'm not uncomfortable with the way that it is, but just,
Okay,
I don't know if we want to follow that statute, particularly given how much scrutiny we've been under.
Madam Clerk, what do you think?
I think if you listen to if you do the recording and you listen to it verbatim, then you have to transcribe the minutes verbatim. So I read the statute to see how it's in meaning and intended, but
It wasn't about a verbatim, it said, every citizen who comes before the public body needs to be noted in the minutes, and it's specific to, the public record aspect of it. Being able to go back and look at the public
Well,
record.
that's a departure from the normal procedure, but,
I'll look into it.
I'm just saying, I just read it in the statute.
okay,
I don't care, really.
Usually we try to note who's speaking.
right.
So,
Back to the roll call vote on the minutes.
well, do we want to follow the statute or not?
I thought we had already settled that we would follow it.
So then we'll table the four
Well,
twenty
then we,
minutes.
then we
because you'd
can't
want them-
pass it as it is.
You'd want them amended.
Cause they gotta be redone. To be accurately depicted of what occurred.
Well, for expedience, do we really want to do that tonight? Maybe that's something that we should start at our next regular meeting.
Okay, I'm just, that's
Well,
fine.
It's a question, John.
With the scrutiny that we're under and the fact that we have people lining the halls and we're in NHPR and the Concord Monitor, I personally would feel more comfortable following the statute.
Okay,
So you wanna postpone?
So I'll withdraw my second.
Sorry.
okay. So we will delay the vote on the minutes until they are redone. Okay?
We still have the 422 minutes, public and non-public.
Did we have anybody speak?
No, that was
So it's
just the
non-
meeting on Friday. It was,
The minutes for 4:22. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
Roll call vote. Jonathan?
Yes, aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
Jonathan was
Jonathan
absent.
wasn't here.
Oh, yeah, abstain.
Thank you.
It's,
And I was late for the.
I think you were not here for the public session, you
Yeah,
came in for the non-public
Sorry,
session.
I'm an aye. So
I'm an
we-
abstain.
we have a quorum and it passes.
Gary and Frizell will abstain.
For the non-public for 4:22.
Move. Second.
Jonathan?
Aye.
abstain.
Andy?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
Aye. Well, we're gonna read some notes.
Okay.
Or do you wanna do?
So you wanted- Bob Stevens, I don't notice that he's here. Jeremy Luigi is available on Zoom if you have questions for Southeast Land Trust. But I have the letter of agreement between Southeast Land Trust and the town for the game farm on South Road.
Okay,
Conservation Commission has reviewed it, I've had council review it, and council was comfortable in recommending moving forward with this document as is.
okay.
So it states out our interest is executory interest, so if SALT defaults, then the town would have an interest to be able to ensure the monitoring. It states that we are liable for up to $140,000, which is the warrant article amount. Anything over and above that would need to be mutually agreed upon between Southeast Land Trust and the town and done via affirmative vote. And there is a contingency fund built into the budget, and anything not spent in that contingency would be returned to the town. So we'd only be liable up to the 140.
Okay.
So that is the terms of
It
this.
requires one signature or two?
It requires one signature,
Make a motion?
but it has
Well,
Andy's name.
Before we even
next.
go into that, I just want to acknowledge Bob and all the work he put in for that, because he went line by line, and I was at the conservation meeting, and I just want to say, Bob, thank you so much. I can't see
I
you.
think he had his, second
All right.
vaccine shot, is that what you
Oh,
said?
well, I just
So
want
he's
to
not
say,
coming
he
today?
deserves to be acknowledged for what he did for that. I mean, he really went line by line and spoke to Jeremy and brought him on the phone, so Bob did a great job with that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second?
Roll call vote. Jonathan?
Aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
And I'm an
Today was the date for the Mill Road Bridge, the bids to come in, we did not receive any, so I will follow up with Bob Stevens on how he wants to prepare
I
and
know
move forward with that.
It's disappointing.
Went to the, I was at the library yesterday, we looked at the amphitheater. I would like to talk to Bob about that too, so when you touch base with him, I guess need to see when he might be available to have a conversation so we can start the discussion over the amphitheater at the library. It needs some serious work, so.
Okay. Robin Whiten is the next item.
Oh.
However, she has decided not to show.
Do you want to do the rest of the documents before you step in?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Speaking of Bob.
No.
I didn't have a shot, I thought you got your second shot today, so perfect. Does he wanna come in and address that one?
Would you like to address the issues, Bob?
Whatever you would like, I don't know what the issue is, so,
Please take a seat, we'll tell you.
okay.
The game farm document has already been signed, and Jonathan gave you higher praise for going through it line by line, thank you.
Okay.
The second item is the Mill Road Bridge.
Yep.
And Karen took your role when she told us that there was no new applications.
I missed all that, my compliments on moving the meeting along. So there's no what now?
No bids?
No bids.
There are no bids, that's right.
So what's the process if that happens? What do you typically do?
Well, my read on it is that, that contractors are extremely busy and this is a very small project that has complicated construction. So they're not really excited about. Very well removed. They're not excited about having,
Thank
it
you.
was me. They're not excited about bidding on a project like this right in the middle of summer. And in fact, in the process, along the bid process here, we called a few of them to see if they were still intending to bid on it, and they indicated as much. So, if you recall, I tried to hasten the process last fall and get the construction in at the end of the season, because I thought at that time of year, there's usually contractors looking for projects like this to fill in and keep their guys busy. And last year was a lot different than this year. The market's exploded in construction again. So we have a lot of factors working against us. And I would guess that that's the main part of the reason. I will also say though, this has never happened to us before, so we're in uncharted waters.
Meaning we've never gotten a bid back, or?
Meaning I've been doing this for 30 years and I have never had such a lack of interest in a project before. So this is my educated guess on what's going on here.
Okay. And then,
My recommendation, I can give you a recommendation if
Sure.
you would like. My recommendation would be to put it out to bid again and maybe adjust the schedule or give a longer time period. Sometimes contractors, for instance, like to know that they can put a few guys on it during a certain time when they have a lull in another larger project. And what that tends to do is extend the construction period of, in this case, our project, because they'll be showing up when it's convenient for them. So we might get it done that way and get some interest in it if they can use it sort of as a filler project. But I would just bid it again. I would reevaluate the schedule and give them until the end of the construction season. But we should talk about that probably offline, Bob, because it's gonna affect things like, when the road closes, that's gonna affect things like school bus and fire truck movement.
okay. And then I'd like to touch base with you on potentially another project to start looking at is the amphitheater over at the library.
Okay.
Just kind of pick your brain to
Yep.
see where we go.
Yeah, we'd love to
I don't know
talk
if
to you
you've been
about
over there, but it needs, I mean, it's a lot more than what I thought it was when we looked at it yesterday. So just kind of get your thoughts on different materials that we could use that might come up with the same result.
Yep.
That we currently have, but maybe last longer than it has. I don't know how long it's been, but.
Happy to talk to you about it.
Okay.
There were a few other issues regarding the bridge though that we should probably discuss at some point. For instance, it turns out that the property lines in the vicinity of the bridge are very different than shown on the tax map. That the owner of the dam may have owned property that we thought was within the town right of way and affects access to the. And these are all things that were unknown to the contractors, so they didn't really affect the fact that we didn't get any bids. But we've discovered it now, and it may be wise, since we were gonna put a survey in, or we had a survey in the construction contract, we might wanna move that out of the construction and do it ahead of time, as soon as possible, so that the town knows exactly what's going on out there. And so that contractors understand as well and can't scream foul after the bid. Does that make sense?
So we were talking about some additional funds.
How did we,
It's the same funds, it's just gonna be pay now versus pay later.
how did we figure out that part of the bridge is owned by the dam guy, I guess?
Great question. So during the pre-bid meeting, we met with the contractors, and the contractors are always concerned about access around water and diverting it. And they had asked if they could use the dam to divert the water, basically impound it while they run a pipe from the upstream side of the dam to the downstream side of the bridge, thereby eliminating most of the water for construction. It's a great idea, but there's issues, I think we all know there's major issues around this dam. So, in the process of looking into that, we looked at a couple of deeds, and that opened a whole can of worms. But we looked at the deeds to see where the dam owner actually owns, so that we did not get in trouble for trespassing without permission. And we discovered in essence, there's a sliver of land between the bridge and the dam, off of the town right of way, that looks like the dam owner owns, or may own. And if so, that's gonna affect access that's gonna be different access than we anticipated when we started the project.
So does it need to be surveyed, or are we pretty, yeah?
That's what I'm recommending, yeah. So we had put a survey in the contract. We are gonna expand the scope of the survey a little bit so that we get the whole upstream of the dam in, so that we know where the contractor can access and if you can use the dam at all for diversion, water diversion. But essentially, we're moving the survey from the construction contract to, what will now be the bid, before the bid.
A
the design.
standalone,
Uh,
the survey,
I'm sorry?
standalone for the survey?
Probably, yeah, but I need to go over all of this stuff with Bob and or Karen, and, we just found out today that there were no bids on it, so.
Okay. Anything else?
I did have one question, if I can change hats again to the Concom. There was one issue with some language at the end of the agreement with CELT. The attorney agreed it was ambiguous, but didn't offer an alternative as far as I can tell. Can you ask them to resolve that for
I
us?
think she was just questioning what that contingency, because it's the statement that
Yeah.
states the contingency fund will be returned, I think she wasn't clear what that was.
Okay.
So it's just excess money that's, well, not excess, but contingency money built into the budget.
But it would probably warrant some clarification, that's all, in my opinion. Don't have to do it, but that's my opinion.
Well, we'll have Karen follow up. Anything else, sir?
I'm finished if you are.
You done?
We're good? Do we have anybody on here?
The chief has some comments, I have documents, and then can we circle back to minutes real quick?
Okay.
Sure.
So NHMA posted on their website for meeting minutes 101. Says what should go into meeting minutes. At a minimum, minutes must include the name of board members present, other people participating, not necessarily all members of the public present. A brief summary of the subject matter discussed and any final decisions reached or action taken, which includes the time the meeting was called to order and the time the meeting was adjourned. To this list, you may want to add the name of the person taking the minutes and the name of the person chairing the meeting. The name of the board and the date of the meeting should always be included. When considering the brief summary of the subject matter discussed, the board may want to recall that the purpose of the meeting minutes is to promote openness in government and to inform citizens about what their government is doing. You should be able to read the minutes to get a good idea of what happened. That does not mean, however, that stenographic or verbatim minutes must be taken, and most boards do not have staff with specialized stenographic skills, nor is this a legal requirement to prepare minutes in this manner. They should be done fairly and objectively.
Yeah, I was just referring to 91A2, Roman 2. It says minutes of all such meetings, including non-public sessions, shall include the names of members, persons appearing before the public bodies, and a brief description of the subject matter. So I was specifically referring to the citation of persons appearing before the public bodies.
Yeah, so I think as long as we capture what their comments is, I don't think it necessarily has to be tied each person and address necessarily. As long as we capture what the subject matter is.
Like I said, I don't care, but statute's pretty, names of persons appearing before the public bodies. It's not ambiguous.
You done?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Bob.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes.
Was Jonathan able to submit the 3 names for Conservation Commission, service?
I have not yet, no.
That comes later on in our meeting.
Tonight?
Yes.
Okay. Do I need to be there for that?
Your call, man.
No,
No.
Okay.
I'm assuming you recommended it to Jonathan. Jonathan will report it to us.
Well, we discussed it at the meeting, and Jonathan's part of our committee, so.
Right.
Yeah, so, I'll watch
Yep.
online.
Okay. Enjoy
Okay.
yourself.
Thank you.
Just want to clarify with him.
Daphne has a proclamation for Municipal Clerks Week.
I'm sorry, can
Want
we
me to read it?
open the
Yeah.
window? Would it feel right? Can we open the window or the door?
Oh, by all means.
Either or.
Okay, we just didn't wanna set something up.
No.
Oh,
Just don't fall out.
no, I'm good.
I don't think I've ever seen that door open.
All right, I'm gonna read this, Town of Brentwood proclamation in honor of, I guess I should put my glasses on, in honor of Municipal Clerks Week, May 2nd through 8th, 2021. Whereas the Office of Municipal Clerk is a time-honored and vital part of local government throughout the world. Whereas the Town of Brentwood has exceptional office of municipal clerks who take great pride in their work every day. Whereas the Office of Municipal Clerk provides a professional link between residents, their local governing bodies, in agencies of government at other levels. Whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. Whereas the Office of the Municipal Clerk serves as a vital information center for residents with regard to the functions of local government and community. And whereas the municipal clerks continue to serve to improve the administration of affairs of the Office of Municipal Clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and annual meetings of their state, county, and professional organizations. Now therefore, the Brentwood Board of Selectmen recognizes May 2nd through 8th, 2021 as Municipal Clerks Week, and further extends its appreciation to our municipal clerk, Daphne Wass, as well as Deputy Town Clerk Joyce Keegle and Assistant Clerk Kristen Patch, with great thanks for all the vital services they performed and their exemplary dedication to the town of Brentwood and its residents. Signed this 4th day of May 2021 at the town of Brentwood, New Hampshire, and the witness thereof, the seal and signature of the town of Brentwood and its Board of Selectmen. I make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll have a roll call. Jonathan?
Aye.
Jonathan,
I'm gonna abstain because I was talking to Bob.
I'm sorry?
I was talking to Bob for the first part, so I'll abstain.
Okay.
Yep.
Andy?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
And I'm an aye.
It says a couple of other things. So that plus.
Could have splurged on the paper.
This isn't on my desk.
She'll scan it in, reprint it.
We have a request from the police department in accordance with 2 CFR 200 Uniform Administrative Requirements, cost principles and audit requirements found in section 200.501:A. Audit requires for federal awards, and what they're looking for is a signature to allow the traffic occupant protection strategy grant to be done. We
It's a
need-
highway safety grant for directed patrols,
Right,
Just new
Speed
or?
grant?
a new one.
It is, it's a grant for speed enforcement, occupant protection, enforcement, and drunk driving. It'll bring additional resources into a town at, which comes from federal monies.
Something you applied for?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
okay.
Great job.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote, please. Jonathan?
Aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Bob? And I'm an aye. It only requires one signature.
Great job, Chief. Thank you.
So the two other things that the chief wanted to discuss.
Okay, Chief, you have two items you wish to speak to?
I do, and I have some folks here that I brought with me if I
Okay.
could. In November of 2020, we received complaints of a loud rooster farm, not a chicken farm, but a rooster farm in 88 Lake Road. I brought a decibel meter out there, and between the period of November 20 and December 8th, I did 9 sound readings, and 8 of them were in violation of the town noise ordinance. Federal investigation was initiated by the Department of Agriculture. They asked us to cease until the investigation was completed. It was completed in March, so we resumed that decibel meter readings of the rooster farm on March 27th and did 5 readings until April 6th. And of the total of 5 readings, 5 were in violation. It's an unusual farm. They only have roosters, exotic roosters, and they make significant noise throughout the day, but particularly in the morning and in the evening. We'd like to have them responsible for noise ordinance, and these are some of the neighbors who wish to speak on it.
Yes.
Would you state your name and address, please?
Yes, my name is Kimberly Meyer, and we live at 83 Lake Road, and we have Starlight Hollow Farm. That's where we're across from the roosters. And so this has been going on for about 7 years. And before Charlie Day, the owner of the property, passed on, we had talked with him about having his son get rid of or move the roosters or whatever. We do know, and I'm just gonna talk briefly about this, we do know that he is breeding them to sell for fighting cocks. He bragged to Warren and showed Warren the spurs, the razor spurs used for them. On the emotional side, when I knew about that, I was very, very sad and depressed for about 2 years thinking about what this, what their demise was. Especially when the babies were out in front and knowing that they were gonna be in 3x3 pens, and then what their ultimate deal was gonna be. Our clients feel the same. We give lessons, and we have about 40 people come through a week. And our clients feel the same, and they also, one of the things we hear all the time while they're sitting watching their child ride is, how do you live with that sound? It would drive me crazy. We hear that all the time. So our clients aren't able to sit and quietly watch their child ride and enjoy that. So it bothers them. They're just polite and not saying, what they'd like to say. Up on Lake Road, there were some new houses, and I went to go introduce myself. And they thought that we had it, and they were kind of annoyed with us, and I'm like, no, we don't have the roosters. So the new houses up on Lake Road, we got a bad rap, and they're not ours. Joggers and walkers also comment about it when we're down at the side of the road. We totally understand that livestock can be loud. When we get our cattle for the year, for about 48 hours, they're gonna call, not all day, not all night, because they've just been taken from their parents and their moms. And so, they don't call all day, all night, and they do quiet down after 2 days, which is a lot different from 2 days to 365 days. We don't have a problem with roosters at all. Our neighbor on the other side of us on Skim Milk has roosters. Cool. This neighbor across the street has 30+ roosters. I cannot, we pay a lot of taxes. And it is very frustrating not to be able to open up the windows and listen to the peepers at night or hear the summer sounds. We have to keep our windows closed. Our bedroom is right next to the road, and you can't. They start at 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and just go. And then there's actually tape that I have that you hear them every 2 seconds. There's times where you can count 1001, 1002, and there's another sound. And then we just have to put our air conditioners in. And so it's not the roosters, it's the quantity of them and how loud, and when they do get going, then it's been constant. So thank you for the opportunity to express our.
Chief, what is your recommendation to us?
Well, as I understand, the noise ordinance requires a warning first, is that correct? I'd like to start the procedure there. If they rectify it, then that'll be the end of it.
Okay,
Make a motion.
Second.
roll call vote. Jonathan?
This is for informing the person.
The warning of the noise.
Does the person know that they were under investigation by either federal
Yes,
or,
they were interviewed by federal agents, yeah.
so they kind of already know?
Yes.
Aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
want to just
Thank
thank
you very much.
you, Selectman, for
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
Officer Rex
You mean Chief Wick?
Chief Wicks. Yes.
Chief Wicks. And as while we're on Chief Wicks, he's come on here and done very nice. I have clients that know him personally. I have trooper clients, I have detective clients, and people in law enforcement. He has come some they've worked with him and they speak to him very, very highly.
So we're
And I'm
thrilled to
very
help.
glad to have you,
So,
and so
thank you.
thank you very much
Thank
for
you very
this.
much.
You're
Thank you.
very busy.
Thank you, guys.
The next issue is the intersection of Middle Road and Pickpocket Road. I identified this intersection approximately 2 years ago as a problem. There's a utility pole in the middle of it.
Right.
And people come at it and they're not sure what to do. There's an identical intersection approximately a mile down the road at Dogtown Road in Exeter, and they've been able to rectify it with a few signs. So I contacted Roger Heislett, the sign supervisor 3 of the Bureau of Traffic of the Hampshire Department of Transportation. He authorized us to put in similar signs that they have at Dogtown Road, telling people where to go in and where to exit. The problem is, if you're coming up Pickpocket Road and you want to turn left, you don't know whether to turn left from the left side or the right side, and vice versa. And I'm concerned there's going to be a traffic crash there. But I have at least one resident who wants to speak on it.
Well, Richard Gagnon, 5 Wilson Way, and I pretty much been elected to represent the 20 communities, the 20 homes that are in Wilson Way. So as you're aware, you come out of Wilson Way, and if you want to head north, you go a short distance, and then you're at Middle Road, where Pickpocket and Middle Road come together. And we've had these casual conversations about, which way do we go? If we want to go left, a lot of people go left to the left of the pole, but some people go to the right of the pole. And it was interesting because a couple of times they were get behind a sheriff's car. And one sheriff's car wanted to go, to the left, and they went to the left side of the pole. And another sheriff's car wanted to go to the left, and he went to the right side of the pole. So just to eliminate some of the confusion and to make it a little bit safer as an intersection, and I realized that I don't think Chief, you said there was been no accidents to date there, still on record.
That's true.
And I understand that. But just to kind of clarify things a little bit, I think a keep right sign, and we've discussed this with the chief, a keep right sign on the pole as we exit from Pickpocket onto Middle Road would make everybody go to the right of the pole, which actually gives everybody a little bit of extra viewpoint, because you're pulling to the right of the pole and you're able to see a little bit further down the road on the left as people come around that corner by Pine. And so that's one of the things we went and we talked to the chief about, doing something like that. Maybe throwing a sign on the pole that says keep right, and then everybody becomes accustomed to staying to the right of the pole as opposed to going to the left into oncoming traffic if people are trying to turn into Pickpocket. That's it.
Thank you.
Presentation.
I happen to know a little bit about that. It's on the master schedule with the Department of Transportation to be repaired in 2034.
Well, actually, Eversource was supposed to move the pole 5 years ago,
Yeah, well,
when we redid the road.
right. but it's on the master plan for 2034.
A sign would cost 50 or 100 bucks.
We've actually purchased the signs, we're just waiting for the green light, if we get it, and we'll be able to put it on.
Make a motion.
Wait a minute, please. I'd like to talk to the highway superintendent in regards to this issue. Okay?
Oh, absolutely,
All right.
yep.
Wanna wait for? Talk to Wayne?
Yes. Any problems with that?
No, not at all.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
very much.
Thank you.
And if we're gonna put it on the pole, we should probably talk to Eversource.
I have a quick question if I could.
Hi, Edie.
Hi, Edie Shipley, Pickpocket Road. What will the sign say?
Keep right.
What, keep right. So you're gonna have to go right to turn left?
Yes, just like a dog, if you get on a Dogtown Road,
Dogtown Road?
it'll be the same signage.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
Where are we going now?
You can do the newsletter now and I
So
can
the people
send
turning
that.
left
Okay.
on the pickpocket from Middle Road, will there be a sign that says do not enter?
Right, you're right, exactly, yes.
I just wanna make sure.
Okay, I started to explain earlier. I invited Robin to speak tonight, and I thought she had accepted, that's why it was on the agenda. She has sent us a letter saying that she would not be present this evening. Lois DeYoung, are you gonna contribute something new to the conversation?
I'm going to contribute for Robin.
Well, she sent us a letter though.
She sent a letter, and I'm going to read the letter into the record.
I don't think that's necessary, because we will post the letter in the record.
Yeah.
I would like, but I'll read, I'm on the
Mr. Chair-
agenda. I would like to read what I have.
Go right ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I'm just pointing out, I am hopeful that this meeting we can achieve what we set out to do and just have a discussion. Like, I want as many people to talk as they want, but if we open a can of worms, I'm nervous that we're gonna be here all night long.
Well, we haven't opened the worms yet.
We're about to.
I think it was pretty clear that public comment was last meeting, and
Yeah.
this was our meeting
Oh,
to
you want me
discuss.
to read this letter? I'll read the letter.
I don't think,
May I make this my introduction? I was on the agenda. This is what I would like to say this evening. This is Louis DeYoung.
Okay, Lois, go right
Louis
ahead.
DeYoung, Crawley Falls Road. I am here tonight as a volunteer member of the Brentwood newsletter to represent Robin, the editor of the newsletter. Robin is not here tonight this evening because she is concerned for her personal safety.
Mr. Chairman, can she address the board and not the
May
audience?
I finish?
No, you're talking to us.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't know. I'm sorry. Robin is not here tonight because she is concerned for her personal safety. Over the past 6 weeks, since the Brentwood newsletter issue started, Robin has received numerous hostile, derogatory, and overt threats. Therefore, she is not here tonight, and I was going to read the letter into the record, but I would like it into her letter to the selectmen. You received it.
We have it. Thank you, Lois.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Someone want to read it?
can we inquire with the police chief? Has any police reports been made reference to the
By all means.
alleged threats?
Yes, she hailed me down 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I completed a report on it, on her concerns. Yes.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Andy. Okay.
Someone's going to read the letter?
All right, Bob, would you read the letter?
You want me to read the letter? It's dated May 4th, 2021. Dear Mr. Christensen and Select Board members, thank you for finally reaching out to us on April 29th, 2021 regarding the Brentwood newsletter BNL. This conversation, I believe, would have been far more productive had it happened 4, 5, or 6 weeks ago. You mentioned the town administrator is collecting print articles on the current situation. Attached is my response to Jonathan Morgan's March 19th op-ed in the Seacoast Online that you say did not see and appears was not included in this compilation. I am not attending the May 4th, 2021 Board of Selectmen meeting because I do not feel safe in the toxic environment of intolerance and bigotry instigated by Jonathan Morgan's article and propagated by the actions of the select board in its misguided attempts to pander to a small and narrow-minded group of residents. I am very disappointed in the Board of Selectmen, that after Mr. Frizzell suggested on more than one occasion there were solutions to explore, no one reached out to the Brentwood newsletter to explore solutions or to inform themselves. I will remind you that I, however, did reach out to the board over 3 weeks ago, but it seems connecting with the BNL was not your priority. I asked that you review the legal opinion the Board of Selectmen received in 2019 when a similar group of people approached the board demanding they impose editorial guidelines. I request to see the criteria the Board of Selectmen will use to come to what I consider an illegal vote. I want to see the material and process you will use to come to your decision. I am hopeful the board will consider law, the vote of the legislative body, and our town meeting process in this evaluation. This situation you have allowed to ferment for 7 weeks sets a very dangerous precedent and validates the vote of the legislative body made, seconded and passed at the March 13th town meeting, and completely disregards the motion to restrict reconsideration. Sincerely, Robin Wrighton. And then she attached a letter dated March 20th, 2021. I don't see the need to read that
No.
one.
I just want to
We
say,
should probably read that one.
You wanna read that one? Okay.
real quick, I was never reached out to by anybody at the BNL 3 weeks ago. I just want to make that clear. I never got anything from email or phone call or anything like that.
It looks like she was saying that you made a suggestion at one of our meetings.
At the meeting, I said that, yeah, we should look for another solution,
alternate.
but I was never reached out to by anybody at the BNL, so I just want to make that clear.
Okay, March 20th, 21, it says for immediate release. I have read and reflected on Jonathan Morgan's opinion. While I respect his right to voice his opinion, I am disappointed that he used the utter tragedy in Atlanta to inflame the readers of the Seacoast newspapers. Silencing opinion and inflammatory attacks is as old as recorded history itself. The Brentwood newsletter has and will remain dedicated to the fundamental rights of Americans embodied in the constitutional guarantee of freedom of the press. That cherished right doesn't erode because of the town of Brentwood has contributed a fraction of the overall budget for the newsletter. I'm confident Mr. Morgan doesn't intend that the newsletter should constitute a censored, state-sponsored publication, but that is what he seems to suggest. There is little doubt that racism plagues our country, or that the first step to changing that resides in shining a bright light on the past and fashioning remedies for the future. You can't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. I implore Mr. Morgan to listen and discuss solutions rather than, as he warns, letting a cavernous divide deepen. Sincerely, Robin Wright.
Okay. We got everything on the record. Now it's our turn to act. I'd like to start with you, John. What is your feeling and comments right now?
Thank you for the opportunity to share with you. Yeah, I don't operate best flying by the seat of my pants, so I did put something together that I'd like to offer for discussion.
Sure.
I'm extraordinarily well aware of the situation that we're in, but I also spent a lot of time reflecting on the words that we heard from the people of Brentwood at our last meeting. And I think that is really important. I mean, I've been in town, not as long as Dick Chamberlain, but I've been in town a little while now. And I've been in situations where my father, who most of you know, was accused of hiding money from the SAU in his mattress. And in typical Mike Morgan fashion, when that article was going to be published, they reached out to him and they offered him a chance to respond contemporaneously at the same time, not 30 days later. And in typical Mike Morgan fashion, he laughed when we were sitting down for dinner. He said, "This is hilarious, and look how ridiculous these people are making themselves look." He didn't respond. He was given that opportunity. I think that was, you know, that speaks to where we should be. We shouldn't be where we are today. Anyway, that was one of the thoughts that I had reflected on. One of the things that the idea that I would like to share with you would be to say, again, consideration. All remaining funds be put toward a town-sponsored newsletter, similar to, I mean, how many, you did research on how many towns?
19.
Similar to the 19 other surrounding towns that have the same type of setup. The newsletter would provide town-related updates, news, stories, Girl Scout troops, Swayze, you know, you name it, that kind of stuff. Recycling dates, which I couldn't live without, to be honest with you. And for the time being, no opinions or editorial section. The current editors in the BNL corporation, because it is incorporated, I think should be offered the right of first refusal to come in under the leadership, under the town, to be putting this effort forward, and they have the expertise, they have the background to be doing that. If they, in the event they're not willing to participate or not able to participate, a committee of 5 residents, there are 5 incorporators on the Brentwood Newsletter Corporation under the Secretary of State's website. So a committee of 5 residents will be formed to establish the publication in the format that I just mentioned. The committee will be appointed by the Board of Selectmen, and the town residents interested in joining this committee will have 2 weeks until May 18th to submit a letter of interest detailing why they want to be involved, why they want to help to set this new publication up. On May 18th, during the next Board of Selectmen meeting, those individuals will be considered, and 5 will be appointed by majority vote of our board. And the first issue under this new format would be issued on July 2021. I'm asking for feedback and thoughts. This is a proposal and a request for a conversation.
Well, I'd like to go around the table and,
100%.
Jonathan,
You know, I'll reiterate what I said a couple meetings ago. I don't think what Mr. Gagnon wrote was racist whatsoever. At first, I was upset. I read it and I was like, come on, you gotta be kidding me. It seemed that way, but then I reread it and I was like, you know what? This isn't racist. I really believe it's just an old man yelling at a cloud. And to me, it was just, I hope Mr. Gagnon realizes that it created this mess that we're in now. And I hope that not only will Mr. Gagnon, but other people who decide they're gonna just throw some crud in a newsletter, a town newsletter about that, which again, old man yelling at a cloud, will second guess it to see what it has created. And the way people have felt about this and how they feel, moving forward. It's created a mess. With that moving forward, I do, after, I did speak to Robin personally, and I believe that she'll put an op-ed in the newsletter in the future purposes. And I also feel that these are conversations about race that we need to have. It's conversations that I couldn't have as a kid, but it's the conversations that we need to have forward. Again, I don't believe Mr. Gagnon's racist. I don't believe what he wrote was racist. I just think it was a waste of time to put it in the newsletter, and why they allowed it in there, I don't know. But again, it's a free country. We have the right to our own opinions, and we have the right of freedom of press. Not only that, we don't own the newsletter, they do. So that's my opinion.
thank you. Andy,
So my opinion is the town should know what it's getting for its money. I've taken some flack comparing this to janitorial services or lawn mowing services, but it's no different. we're paying for a service, that service is a newsletter. We should know what we're getting. I amaze myself after listening to all this, that we've done this for so long without knowing what we're getting. We don't have anything that says how many issues the B&L is gonna rate, how many pages each issue will be at a minimum, or what content will be in the B&L. So whether it's the current editor, somebody new, a town-sponsored function, we should know what we're getting for our money. And that's my opinion.
Thank you. Bob?
I always have a thing. I think we're paying for a service, and I've said this before, we're paying for a service that we basically, this newsletter was started 40 some odd years ago. They came up with, you know, how they want to design it and everything else. And then I think in '86 sometime, they requested that the town basically help to fund some of the subscription. It was built into, I think it was warrant articles at first and then put into the budget. And then it's been continued in the governing body or portion of the budget. I firmly feel that it was approved and ratified at the town meeting. I feel we voiced, as the people have voiced their concerns about the newsletter. Hopefully they'll take it seriously. I think it was ratified at our town meeting in March. And we should hopefully, I think we should fund it with what the money is left right now. And hopefully they'll honor the voices that have been voiced. And then the other thing I would like to do is, I would recommend that we put this onto a warrant article for next year. So that way we can have more engagement at the town meeting where we have a discussion of what does everyone want? And let's give them an opportunity to, I don't believe Mr. Gagnon's racist either. I've read it. I think that's his perspective, his point of view. I think some other people are more on the side, and I think one of the words that was used in here is bigotry. Sometimes they focus more on race than they do on the character or the substance of a person. And I think that's unfortunate, and I think it's misguided, and I also think it's inflammatory. And I think in order to have these discussions, I think that's the benefit sometimes of having these articles in there. Would I have loved to have seen a pro and a con, or this is one view, this is another view? Yeah, I would have loved to have seen it in there. I think that was misguided that it wasn't put in there. Hopefully they can correct that or fix that situation. I think people making threats and stuff is extremely misguided. And, you know, I think that's unfortunate, but I think we should honor what the people voted for, release those funds, and ask, you know, send a request that they do that. I don't think creating another governmental agency to basically oversight or monitor or create some type of oversight. If we're just gonna be putting out a pamphlet, we can do that on the website of when the recycling does, we do that too. We can, you know, do a mailing. I think it costs less than a stamp to do this. If the newsletter, since they are their own incorporated business, we couldn't really create a Brentwood newsletter because I think they've trademarked that. So we'd have to figure out what we do, whether it's Brentwood Herald or something else, if you guys want to send something out, or Brentwood, you know, pamphlet, doesn't matter what it's called. But I think moving that money from one bill to another bill out of convenience for personal agenda is problematic to me. And I say we release the money, we voiced what our concerns were, and we see how that works, and then I also believe strongly we should put it on a warrant article. That's my thoughts.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, can I just offer a rebuttal to that for a second?
Yes.
The voters approved the budget, they didn't approve the Brentwood newsletter.
They also didn't approve paying for the lawn mowing service, they also
Correct.
didn't approve paying for the police department.
But-
They approved for the whole budget.
But we could change our lawnmower service.
If they failed to deliver the service,
Correct.
but if we signed We signed a contract with them. If we have an agreement with them, we got a bill from the Brentwood newsletter for the $10,200. And then at some point, somebody said, no, I don't wanna pay them that much. Well, that's cool, but we already went through the budgeting process. It was approved, it was discussed. It was discussed ad nauseum throughout the whole budgeting season. You were part of that.
I agree, I'm just saying that the budget was approved, not the Brentwood
The
News.
budget was approved, but so was the police department, so was mowing lawns, so was paying for the building inspector to buy books, so was paying for our internet service. If we told our internet service, hey, I don't wanna pay you right now,
They would shut it off.
they would shut it off, right?
Is-
So what did they do? They shut off the Brentwood
but-
newsletter.
Is there any other service anywhere in our budget?
Yeah, we got services everywhere. Everyone's part of
I'm not done with my sentence yet, Bob. Is there any other service that we have in the entire budget where there's no contract?
Yes,
Yes,
There's no agreement
all
whatsoever?
over the place.
the regional associations.
Are we speaking with the board?
Regional
or are we-
associations have 15 different ones in there.
Rebecca,
I don't have a
please.
contract with any of them.
So with regional associations, if we could, Mr. Chairman, keep this discussion to the board, that'd be helpful. Regional associations have to go through a lot of hoops in order to get, they most certainly do.
They go through checks and balances,
So
but that's
are
part
there-
of the budgeting process.
That's what I'm asking. I'm just saying, the police department have to, they come to us to put up a sign. Like,
That wasn't
we have
part
a
of the budget.
we have a
That's an
janitorial service.
Mhm.
Has a contract. Comcast, we have a contract.
We don't
I
have a
mean-
contract with them.
You do. Like, you cannot not have a contract with Comcast, Bob, it's Comcast, like.
Yeah, and if we don't like it, what happens?
Well, that,
You don't get service.
Bob, that's my point. So what's the contract? What's the agreement that Andy's talking about? Like, where is it?
They're gonna,
We're literally writing a check. Here you go.
we literally write a check to the regional associations and we don't tell them what they have to do.
That's
They send us
incorrect.
a bill for it.
That is 100% incorrect.
That I would disagree with you, and Becky Dunham, who actually is the chair of that committee, is here, but you don't want her to speak.
You don't pay that committee,
So talk to her.
The fact that
pay
we
them
have,
for the oversight.
the fact that we have
Great list,
significant
thanks.
oversight for this, that's what I'm referring to, Bob. I'm just, well, it's not, you don't have to,
I'm saying
get as upset.
17,500, I'm not upset, I'm telling you it's factual. I think
They
the
go through
bigotry and stuff
hoops.
that comes out in some of the letters that were sent out were horrible. And I think we pay $17,500 just for regional associations, that's one line. $10,200 for this. We pay $30-some-odd-thousand for lawn mowing. We pay, for salt contracts, we do all those other things. We do a lot of
And
stuff.
contracts is the operative word, Bob, and that's, I think every single person in this entire room understands where I'm going with this. So we can keep going about this banter and you can come at me about the bigotry, but the fact is, it's the contract that I'm getting at. That's it.
There is no contract.
Thank
A
you.
lot of
That's
our-
all I needed.
A lot of our providers, we don't have contracts either. Every single person that comes into our town and does business in our town, we don't have a contract. We don't have a contract with Bell and Flint. We talk to them and we get a discussion of how much do you think it's gonna cost for this? And then Wayne comes and presents that budget.
That's right. That's exactly right. He comes and presents a budget.
And guess what?
Like-
They came to the budget process and guess what? They gave us an estimate for $10,200. The year before, they said it was $10,200. I don't know the last time that they increased it, but it was a few years ago. And we look at it and we say, we're happy with the service we're getting, we're gonna continue on with that service. We've continued with that service. That was through the budgeting process. That service was discussed ad nauseum. It was approved. The budget committee approved it. The select board approved it. It went to the town meeting. You were there. Liz in the back that was there. She just made some
Can we,
comments. She
can we
made
not
positives.
attack
I'm not
residents? I
attacking
mean,
residents.
please.
She's elected also. So they were part of that. They approved that budget. There was a lot of elected people that were at that meeting. That was our governing body that was at that town meeting. They approved all the stuff that was put into the budget committee, that was put into the town.
The word is authorized. They authorized.
Okay.
They approved.
I believe it's now my turn.
Go.
I had the pleasure of speaking to the editor last week. And one thing she said that really struck home was, the newsletter is written by the people of the town of Brentwood. She does not make things up. On occasion, she has put stories in there, but they were light and meant to inform. I personally would like to fund it and go forward with it, and maybe take Bob's idea, your idea, and talk about a contract. That is not yet in place. However, we do have the right to ask for that. But at this point, and you know, I'm positive that I caused much of the problem by using the word terminated.
And you did not cause the problem.
A lot of people didn't like what I said, and they told me.
You used it throughout the meeting, and I've defended you multiple times on that,
Well,
so.
no, but, I mean, I certainly will accept my responsibility for whatever happened. But I think we've heard from everybody. Now it's time to make a motion.
Did you want to take?
I want to point out one specific thing that really jumped out at me as I was going through some of the research and preparation for this meeting. We all know Eric Turr ran for state rep.
Right.
Okay. He had a statement that he tried to have published alongside Representative Yokilos in the newsletter leading the electoral newsletter. And it was refused, and he was given a little statement saying Eric Turr is also running. And I read the email that he received back from the newsletter folks, basically saying, we'll publish stuff, but please don't send us anything from Eric Turr. I have that email. I was really baffled by that. I wasn't baffled, but I was really surprised by it. I was genuinely surprised by it, because it speaks to something that's greater, I think, than just one editorial. And that's my problem with this. It's the pattern.
All right. Now, I know that you see in the notes that Karen put together a sheet talking about keep the status quo with 69 people, keep the newsletter and implement standards with some oversight, 85. Only 17 people came out and said defund, with informational 32. So the vast majority of the people want the newsletter, and then they talk about implementing standards, and I think one thing we should also put in there is a contract and oversight. So, can we now get to a motion?
Is there anybody, I mean, there's 1,600, I believe, subscriptions. I guess one of the things I would be curious about, how many in this board actually received the newsletter? Does everyone receive it?
Well, I do.
I asked to stop receiving it, and I just didn't want to hear, I didn't want to read the dribble that was happening, so I just said, I don't want to read it anymore, and I asked to be taken off, and they did.
Okay.
I still receive it.
I receive it.
Actually, my wife gets it. I read it.
I'm new at my address, I don't receive it yet.
Well, there hasn't been one since you moved.
Well, I've actually had that address for the last year, and that's been my official,
Oh, okay.
mailing address.
So, now we're at an impasse. Are we ready for a motion?
What's the motion going to be about?
I make a motion, we release the funding for this year, and that next year we put it in a warrant, and we can try to do a contract.
You want to amend that, maybe add a little, implement some standards and.
Well, that would be part of the contract, is coming up with what standards and oversight you're looking for under a contract.
I would be willing to amend that motion and say we should have a contract with some basic standards and publication guidelines, and no more op-eds, opinions or editorials for the remainder of the year.
Okay. All right, we have a motion, an amended motion.
I'm confused what the motion is.
All
so-
right, once again,
I think, to me, I'm saying, I'm making a motion that we release the funding for this year and let them do it how we need to. Hopefully, they make the changes that we've recommended or that we've recognized for this year, and then that in the next budget season, if we are to continue doing the Brentwood newsletter, that it has to be a warrant article, number one, And number two, within that warrant article, we would like to have some type of contract with some standards and oversight in that contract.
So what I hear you say is you're almost agreeing with John.
What I'm amended, what I
Wait a
would,
minute, it's my statement.
what I would, amend that to would be, I think to advance it to having a contract put in place immediately so that we know what the service is that we are getting. Within that contract, I'm proposing that we say no more opinion and editorial for the remainder of this year until we can get to the next budget cycle, put it on the warrant article and go back to this discussion. But for right now, I think we need a contract which allows for oversight demanded by 80 some odd of the people of Brentwood.
I personally think that I wanna see if they do put an op-ed to the opinion piece for the next B&L. I wanna see if they actually do that.
Well, there was one, there was an April edition, and there was not a,
Because, well, the April edition was nothing on it, it was just, we are not setting this out, right?
no, the April edition was 6 pages of ads and a thing saying the Brentwood newsletter is under attack.
Yeah.
That sort of.
But,
It was a
I
page-
wouldn't-
it was
but
a
I'm talking
page and a
the May one, I mean, May or June, whatever the next one will be coming out, I'd like to see if there is an op-ed to this, to be honest with you.
And then come back here and have this discussion?
Have this, well, you know, like I said before, I think Robin, I trust that Robin will have an op-ed into it, and I think people want to have their voices said for this op-ed to go against what Mr. Gagnon had written. And, you know, he had the ability to write what he wanted to write. Whether, you know, someone else can have the ability to write against what he said, you know what I mean? And you know, we can't just say, hey, you're allowed to have this opinion, Mr. Gagnon, but no one else is to have anything to go against it. And, you know, according to Robin, there have been op-eds that come in. I mean, that's all I'm saying.
It's a voice, and I like having that voice, and sometimes I read the articles and sometimes I don't. I can tell you this article, I skimmed over and then everyone had an uproar about it, and I said, oh, let me go read it. And then I
Isn't
went
it
back
nice
and
to have that, you know, that opportunity? But for
Right,
some
to
reason,
listen to somebody's opinion.
for some people, look around. This isn't the way select board meetings are supposed to be.
It has been-
And I don't want it to be
has
like
been
this
since-
for the remainder of my term.
For a while,
I really don't.
3 years.
Okay, well, the motion didn't receive a second, so we're still seeking a motion.
I think we need to have some basic oversight. And the only way that you get basic oversight is if you have a contract.
And the contract won't be done tonight, you're looking
No.
at,
Right.
No, but we can.
you won't see a B&L edition until July if you do a contract. Because we need to figure out what's gonna be in it, what we want, have legal counsel review it. I mean, it's not a,
The contract is a process.
Yeah.
And it will take a
I
while.
mean, is that what we do with our janitorial services too?
well,
There's
they
lot
give
of
us a
them.
contract, we have legal review it.
Here, now we have to initiate it.
I mean,
Actually, Karen actually would do a request for proposal.
You actually had something to say, or can we let Karen talk?
Well,
Certainly.
I was just gonna say, if you're going to outline a contract, you wanna be careful in the oversight that you want to implement on a separate private entity. Because you don't wanna infringe on people's
Right,
rights
yeah,
in free speech.
I agree, which is
So
why I
when you wanna
proposed.
So when you wanna outline the content that you're gonna be requiring this, whatever the provider is, to write the newsletter, then
I don't disagree, and that's why I proposed what I proposed earlier.
I just don't think we can stop them from the rest of the year having opinion pieces. We don't own the newsletter.
So then, let's,
And then we work on the contract, and if it comes back where, okay, they're not allowing these op-eds, they're not allowing these other opinions, then guess what? Then we need to put a stand to this and have it on the contract. I mean, we're giving them the opportunity now. I've always said this, I say it to my kids, I say it to everybody, listen, there's, you know, why does your first chance have to always be the last chance?
but
And that's
John-
what I'm saying, and I know, John, you're gonna say this has been a reoccurring thing for the past 3, but I asked Robin at the middle of the meeting, I said, did anybody give an op-ed to whatever it was 3 months ago that people got all up in arms about again, 4 months ago? And she said, no one gave an op-ed. I asked her specifically, if there was an op-ed, I said, then if there was an op-ed, would you have posted? She said, yes, I would have.
Robin also stated in our meeting to us that only one letter has ever been rejected, and I saw with my own eyes the rejections that came in. I saw 5. I'm just saying
Yeah,
credibility is
I
an
just-
important thing.
I do, I understand that, and, you know, I've already talked about the racist shit stuff, sorry, I'm getting upset. The racist stuff that I've had to deal with in my life, it's been a lot, but I also feel like, you know what? This is a free country, this is what people fought for, this is why I take my hat off during the Pledge of Allegiance to stand in front of that flag. We have the right to our opinions, and again, I strongly believe that Robin will post an op-ed. I believe that. Again, I think what was written was useless and worthless, and it did no good whatsoever. As a matter of fact, it did nothing but harm. But I think Robin will add to it, and I don't think we should take away, I don't think we should say you're not allowed to have any opinion pieces for the rest of the year until we put up a contract. I just don't
And it's
think
gonna
that's
take
right.
us time to go through, and that's one of the reasons why I would like to do a warrant article, because when you do the warrant article, that is really totally discussed at that meeting. So when we're at the meeting, there's gonna be focus just on, this is specific for that one item, and instead of putting it into the envelope of the entire budget. And I think right now, I think people like the newsletter, they want the newsletter, there's some issues with it. Hopefully they can fix some of it, but I think if we release the funding, let's see what they do, and then we're gonna start having to create some type of a contract or an agreement with them and seeing how it works out. But we also have to put it out to legal to make sure that we're not infringing on people's.
So
And
then
this-
let's listen to the people and let's put that together
Well,
before we.
When we listen to the people, there are only 145 people that are on this list, roughly.
And there's
And
1,600
there's,
subscription services.
yes, let's say 1,500 to 1,600
I
subscriptions.
guarantee there's some people
I
here
say-
in this
I'm-
audience that
hold on.
haven't spoken yet.
I say that we, like, I agree, put it on the warrant article, let people vote on this, because there's a lot more people than 135, 145, 142, whatever it is, I don't feel like counting.
At our town meeting, Jonathan,
Yeah.
132 people attended.
Thank you, sir. 132 out of 15 to 1,600.
Town meeting.
At a town meeting, I know.
This is how important
But
this is to people.
It is, and that's it. This is important. That's why it needs to be on a warrant article, so people can have their voices heard and vote on it.
Well, there was mitigating circumstances with the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Of course.
yeah, so, all right, it sounds like you have a motion.
I'm thinking.
I'm sorry?
He's thinking.
I'm thinking.
He's thinking
I
about
have a
it.
motion, yeah. I'd like it to go the way Bob said, where, okay, let's pay the rest of the time for the Brentwood newsletter, because this is the money that was voted on, that was approved, okay? We'll give them time, we're not gonna disbar any of the opinion pieces, give it the time, and then we will put the warrant article for a contract in place. That's my,
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
It's a huge
Speak
disappointment.
now or forever hold your peace.
Huge disappointment, and we're,
Up-
it's a huge disappointment.
Okay,
Can I ask a question? Is that allowed?
No.
no,
Okay.
okay, all right, we have a motion and a second. I'm gonna do a roll call vote. Jonathan,
No.
Jonathan,
yes.
Andy,
There needs to be oversight, but I would like to do it that we pay them a monthly subscription, but I know that won't happen.
no. Well, that creates extra work for the administrative staff.
Not any more than what's been created.
Well, I know, we can dig this hole very deep if we want to. So we-
It's already been dug deep.
Okay, we have a no, we have a yes. What is your vote, sir?
Full funds,
For the rest of this year with the warrant?
with no contract or anything.
Well, we will work on the contract, but we have to fund it first.
Well, you can't fund it and then write a contract. You can't send them a
The
check.
contract will be for next year.
I'm a no.
Okay, we have a no, a yes, a no,
Yes.
yes, and I'm a yes. The motion carries 3-2. Okay, we're gonna take a recess, so everybody can go.
Okay.
Madam?
The question I was gonna ask was just, you had previously said majority would carry.
Yes.
Wasn't the majority to put a contract restrictions in place? I'm just wondering why we didn't follow through.
Oh, no, it was a total. You're right, it was a total. But we could
You've
only,
been quoted in the newspaper saying majority will
that's right.
decide.
And the majority voted for that.
You meant the majority of the selectmen.
We considered everything that came through. That pile of people, plus the 2 letters that were looked at.
When you quoted the numbers in the meeting, wasn't the highest number asking for oversight and modification? So you just voted for something basically lower than that. I just confused how
I
that was
wanna
majority.
give you props for being in 2 places at once.
I'm not honestly, to me, that sounds like if that's what the majority wanted, that's not what you actually voted
When they gave us
for.
that.
You say majority carries.
Yes, it does.
We shut Chad off
Not
after,
only did they want oversight standards, but we were gonna develop those standards in the form of the contract.
But not now.
No.
well, it gives you an unfair advantage over people that are in person, because
I get that.
I'm sorry, can you name me?
I'm Jen Jones.
Jan Jones. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And I didn't mean to be rude when I said that.
No, that's okay. I was, if I was put out, it was
but I looked over, I'm like, that's Eric, that's Eric.
understand.
Well, just
The
understand,
majority, this is the majority, they wanted oversight, you just voted to give them money without oversight. So it doesn't seem that you upheld what you had said publicly, that the majority, that's what it says. That's not what I heard reflected in the vote that just happened. And
Win
that's
some, you lose some.
It's not what
Win some, you lose some.
That's unfortunate.
well, no, it's not. It's, I took half of that and added that. Right.
What kind of time frame are you anticipating
that?
there being some standards in place?
Well, just knowing the contract process with the league, we're talking at least 2 months, possibly 3. And by that time, we're now into the budget season in October, and the warrant articles have to be submitted sometime in the first or second week of February.
Do you have sort of an internal timeline by which you would expect some sort of a contract to be in place for them?
Yeah, I would suspect in a month, we would get it, we would review it, share it with the board, and then go back to legal. In the simplest issue with legal, in this one, it requires the review of like 65 articles.
Oh, I know what the lawyers delays things, I get it.
You're not an attorney.
No, I'm not, I'm a physician. No, I get it, we deal with lawyers, I
Okay.
know what you're saying. Okay.
Now, do you live on Lakewood?
I do.
I live on Cross. I'm not.
Yeah, and I respect this process, I don't agree with everything going on.
Well, that's okay.
But I just, to me, it doesn't feel like you went with the majority. I think you did, I think you intended to.
Yeah, well,
But I'm just gonna tell you as a constituent, it didn't happen.
do you need this?
I do, yes, I do, and I wrote it in the Concord Monitor and Exeter Herald, because that's where I wrote it. So I wrote it about this. I don't think the town should have to use their tax money, I wrote about this.
Because I've got everything. I read the CEO's rules and newsletter and union leader. And
I was in the union meeting last week, and I'd be happy to forward it to you.
if you would,
Just, I think that's where it belongs. I don't think anybody's tax money should have to support my view of the world. And I know people feel differently. So my point to come down to is just that I hope that you're gonna follow through on this, because what I heard you guys vote for was not exactly what the majority wanted.
well, it's
And I hope
close.
we're gonna get there.
Yeah, we are. And thank you so much for coming.
when we resume, give Wayne the floor, he's got a couple of free cuts.
Is that tomorrow night?
Oh, sure.
Oh, can we ask him about the signs too? Hey, Ken, ask him about the signs. Ask him about the signs too.
That's where it was.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You don't have to read that.
We're going to resume.
We're missing.
Yeah, he's in the mentor.
I did that on purpose.
That's okay. I just thought it was dying.
All right, we're going. All of you have a great day.
Should I get it? Yes. Thank you.
He went to the bathroom. Kind of rolled over us from last time. Came back from the meeting and I was in bed.
Yeah.
You were in bed?
He was in the bathroom, no. We're not talking about when he left the meeting, he went to sleep. I still can't imagine how Jane went down to that hill. Going down there yesterday.
Oh, she went down the other side.
I was like, you gotta be kidding me. She went down this hill.
Not the library side, the other side.
I went down the library side. This is so hot. And all I was thinking is, she saw it from down here, went down here. My God.
We're waiting for
I
Justin.
see we got back up.
So your minutes are going to be quite long.
Sarah's minutes.
Sorry, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
I'm a stickler.
You're ruining my birthday one.
Sorry. It's just names. I have them all for you if you would like them.
I'm pretty sure I put everything.
I can email them to you.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome.
We have a nice video.
Yeah, but that takes long. I have a spreadsheet.
What's that?
Down there.
Well, Andy was looking for you. And
Yeah, I
I
know.
read
I was in the sandboard room. You couldn't hear me, I was screaming.
it was overflow.
When the announcements were made about the school funding, I was down there jumping up and down screaming.
I noticed there were
Well, I
little
heard
teeny
I heard
bit
a
less.
bing. I thought maybe it was a pacemaker.
I was in Joyce's office.
I noticed they're a little bit less than last year though. Swayze used to be over 200 and
There's only 130 kids in the police school.
Excuse me, I'm sitting right
I'm sorry.
I thought you were back there, I'm like.
She is by the fire pole. She might have pulled the alarm. All right, Bill.
Be very careful what I say.
Okay, we're going to start. Wayne, would you want to take the chair, please? We're back on the record.
Oh, it looks like he wants money.
Well, I went, I got estimates here for, I got two trees to take down over on Scrabble Road that are pretty bad, it's gotta come down. And I also got a tree down on, Crowley Falls Road. You guys received a letter on that one. And that tree, that's a big pine, that's a huge pine, and it's in his driveway, it's a town tree, and the limbs are falling off it, and,
Is it near Andy's house?
no, it's up above his. It's
I
up-
was
it's
just
only-
going to fall.
It's up, it's at 92 Crowley Falls Road,
Okay,
okay? Anyways, last week I wasn't there, and he did an estimate on 2 trees which came to, on Scrabble Road, and there was $1,800 to do the tree.
One
So I
tree.
met him- I
Two
met
trees.
him- Two trees. Two trees.
I'll cut the thing down for you.
I know this is a big math, pay attention.
So I met him tonight, and I talked over with him about the 2 trees on Scrabble Road and the one we gotta take down there, so he changed that. He changed it, it's $300, he's gonna do it by the hour. Without all us guys down the shed's help with equipment and his equipment, he's gonna change it for $300 per hour, which he'll work an 8-hour day, which would bring it $2,400. And we'll work to get those trees down. So whatever it takes, it'll be $300 an hour to take those trees down. We need his equipment because we can't get up in the top of the trees. He's gotta use a big bucket truck to knock them down. And-
What company is that, Wayne?
What's that?
What company?
It's Bolduc's Tree Service out of Fremont.
So moved.
He
Are
does,
you related to them?
No.
Okay.
he does all of Chester's work, and he also does all of Fremont's work
Okay.
over there.
Is there a contract there?
Yeah, I got
An
it.
estimate, yeah.
It's all, it's all written down right here.
I could play too.
Okay.
Just like you
This
want.
is it?
And he
This
can
isn't a
give you-
contract.
He said, as soon as we find out what you guys wanna do, he'll give you all his insurance.
Cut me
papers.
clean trees, hourly rate. That's it.
anything you wanna do.
Okay, well, we have a motion by Andy. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a
It's an
second.
agreement.
It's an estimate.
Guys, can we just drop it? Like, can we act like adults, maybe?
All right, we're gonna have a roll
I
call
go
vote.
for it.
Jonathan?
Yes, aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Bob?
Doesn't have a contract, but I'll say yes.
I'm a yes. Motion passes.
I
Thank
feel
you.
like I'm in middle school. That's awesome.
I do with some middle schoolers.
I do wanna let you know that we're gonna have to have them trucks in the roads on both of them, cause they're right on the edge of the road, there's no place to put a truck off the road. So I may have to close the road while we do it.
Chief?
The way he wants it, we'll give it to him.
Okay.
Other
Speaking
than
of
that,
which,
if we don't need to close it, then we'll try to keep it open.
All right, thank you.
Can they do one lane or no?
I'm
With
sorry.
that,
Can they do one lane of travel?
we'll try.
I was just gonna say the pickpocket thing.
Oh, and the sign the pickpocket.
Okay.
If you're okay.
Now, the signs on Pickpocket Road is, I'm kinda against what you guys, what they wanna do down there. One reason is the road down there, we've already got a permit in to the state to change that road down there, it's a 50-foot right of way, all the way across. It takes out the center where the telephone pole is, and it gives us 50-foot right of way. If we put the signs up there the way the state wants it, there's a paper that they give us. Once we put those signs up there, we're liable. If they have an accident down there, somebody gets hurt, we're gonna be liable for it. And I don't believe, it's not big enough down there because you got trucks that's gonna come from Exeter, they're gonna come by, and they have to go by that entrance where you first turn in.
Yep.
They have to go by there, go around the pole, and try to make that swing. There's not enough room.
Pickpockets Road no through trucking, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
No truck.
So you shouldn't have trucks
There's no-
coming from Exeter.
Well, there's tractor trailers, the tractor trailers go down there, they bypass that road, I've seen it for years, and they try to turn around there. They try to turn, they make that a turnaround down there, and a couple of times they've almost taken that pole out. And,
Well, you know, we're gonna get rid of that in 2034.
yes,
How long, and you, I mean, you did what, road agent, you've been what, 18, 20 years?
20 years,
And how long were you chief for?
22.
So,
We've never had an accident.
that's what I was gonna say, how many
There's
accidents?
never been an accident there. And for what everybody wants to do there, they can do that now. Because when they pull out there, they wanna come out on that side of that road, on the Exeter side, they can come out there and stop there and they can go left if they want. But if they get in an accident, it's not on us, it's on them, because they're the operator of the car. There's nothing saying they can't do. But if we change that road and make that one way, going in both ways, the state said it on that paper that I gave you that we're liable.
Well, maybe it's time to rethink this. Chief, how about, let's get together with Wayne and get legal involved. The liability is an issue that we really don't wanna deal with.
I agree.
You agree?
Now,
Absolutely.
what's the weight restriction of trucks on that road?
If you go through trucking, if you have a delivery on that road, you can bring a truck out there, but that's a problem we've been addressing the last few years. They try to use pickpocket to the landfill,
Right.
and we've been very active in writing them up and stopping them doing it, but they shouldn't be out there, unless they have a delivery on the road.
Is there a weight restriction on that road or not?
No, there's just no trucks.
There's no
So,
way.
so any weight can go on there?
Well, if they have a delivery, if they
they're
have a delivery.
delivering.
Making deliveries, yeah.
Okay, all right.
I think our efforts would be more like getting Eversource to move the pole like they were supposed to move it 5 years ago.
Okay, well, maybe that's one thing that we'll pursue first, okay.
Is there,
I concur. I think that's probably the best option, get the pole
I
out.
know you were able to get the pole moved on North Road.
Oh, well, that was totally different.
But is
It went to a T intersection
Yeah, but
as a result of Prescott Road being redone.
but if we get rid of that pole there, we would end up turning it into a T.
Well, I don't think it's the pole that's the issue down there, it's the lights. When we did that a few years ago, when we brought that permit, and, public service came down there, they already know where the pole's going. They're gonna move that pole, but it's the Comcast, those big wires that they have. I believe for where they wanna move that is, that's what they gotta move. They can't just move those wires, they gotta replace them.
Okay.
And that's what's taking up all the time.
Well, I think we will pursue Comcast, and there's no other utilities on that pole?
Should be Consolidated, Comcast, and Eversource.
Okay,
But I don't know who, I think Eversource owns the pole,
okay.
Yeah.
so it would be Eversource's job to get their leasees to,
Get it done, okay. Well, I think we are talking about 2034, but we'll start right now. And the reason I say that is I represent Brentwood to the Rockingham Planning Commission. And 9 years ago, I asked them about accelerating that, and they said, yes, 2034. It has not changed.
You ought to be able to push that a little bit closer.
Well, I'm one of 22, and my voice isn't loud enough.
They did that with Prescott.
What's that?
They were supposed to fix Prescott, I think, in 2025 or 2024.
No, that was 2035, yeah.
And then it got pushed back.
Well, what happened was, because of the reconstruction of Prescott, we took it upon ourselves, coordinating with the utilities to get it done. And Wayne was a major part of that. Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
We still have many documents to sign.
That is an abatement for the county. They, in part of the reval, one of their properties was mistakenly added wrong value. It should have been non-taxable. They should have only been billed for the current use, so that's to refund that portion back to the county.
Can we get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
second.
Roll call vote. Jonathan?
Aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
And I'm an aye.
Can you keep going?
Sure.
I received a memo from the planning board requesting the Board of Selectmen issue a cease and desist for 324 New Hampshire Route 125. This property has been conducting terrain altering activity on the property, and they have wetlands violations, which they're working on getting corrected through the state.
What was the address, I'm sorry?
324 Route 125.
You know, the big red dumpsters?
Yeah, okay. So this is from the state?
So the state has imposed wetlands violations, and they have a corrective action plan that they will be requiring. The planning board would like the town to issue a cease and desist so that no work can be done until they make their
So I
corrective
just,
action.
I'm on the planning board, which is why, I didn't know that this came in, but this is what we were waiting for, so this is a good.
The last meeting, John, we did talk about it.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Don't get it.
When was the last meeting? The first and third?
Yeah, I know the last meeting you were not there, sir.
Alright, my bad. Well, I missed that, but anyway, it's here.
I think they've been, from when I drive by, they're pushing things back, and that's the problem.
At the meeting prior to that, we discussed this, and we didn't wanna do anything until the state of New Hampshire acted.
Yeah.
And the state of New Hampshire has now acted, so we are doubling down on a cease and desist.
Sarah's got his name.
Thanks, Mark.
All right, so is that a motion, John?
Yes.
Second? Roll call vote. Jonathan?
Yes, aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Bob? And I'm an aye. It only requires one signature.
And similarly, at that same planning board meeting, they recommend issuing another cease and desist for 405 Route 125. So the issue here is a lack of site plan review, and after numerous attempts, that property owner still has not come in to pursue a site plan.
Which one is that? Samson?
Same,
Sampson.
Okay.
So they're saying that the property in the 1980s retained the appearance of a residence with a garage that housed an automotive business. Since then, the commercial aspects of the property have shifted into the front property setback, 125 feet from New Hampshire Route 125. In addition, at some point in time, the property owner began operation of a U-Haul business whose rental units are entirely located within the front setback. These changes to the property negate its status as a non-conforming, legally existing commercial enterprise, and as such, the planning board has repeatedly asked the property owner to work with the planning board to establish a site plan that adequately reflects the activities occurring on the site. So he was most recently notified on January 13th to come in with a site plan by March 10th, which he had not done. So now they're requesting you issue a cease and desist, which would shut his business right down until he comes in and starts to comply.
We have a motion, John?
Make a motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call vote. Jonathan?
Aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Requires one signature.
Thank you. I have 3 signatures from the employee handbook that was updated. It was brought to the board, I want to say about a month ago. Do the other 2 members want to sign this document?
Is that what I'm reading here?
Yeah.
That one's the employee handbook. That one's the selectman's handbook.
Ah,
I already saw that.
sorry.
It's very interesting reading, John.
It looks, yeah,
Very riveting.
riveting, thank you. And this is on the drive.
Yes. There was a policy posted on the drive for a PDSOP. Are you fine with adopting it as written? And if not, you should go into non-public if you want to discuss it.
What is a PDSOP?
It's a standard operating procedure for the
Oh,
police department.
yeah, I
and it
read
will
that.
be discussed in public session.
You read that?
I did read
Did
that.
everybody have the opportunity to see it?
Mhm.
All right, we'll ask for a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
No further discussion? Jonathan?
Aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
And I'm an aye.
This will just sign. That concludes my portion.
Thank you.
I have one thing, Mr.
Do we
Chairman.
have to print our names right here, is that what you're doing?
We'll let her do that. What is that, Andy?
With the expiration of the governor's mask mandate, I think the selectmen should make a decision on whether we're gonna require masks in the town building.
Well, I want to table that until I hear what the governor has to say.
Well, he let it expire, so it expires in 2 days.
Friday. Is that what's going to happen?
Yes.
Okay, well, I guess it's open for discussion.
I think,
So I have polled each of the town employees privately to see what their feelings would be. And all of the employees in this building that are choosing to get vaccinated will not be fully vaccinated until the end of June. So I am requesting that masks maintain being required on town property through July 4th.
I'd make a motion. I'll second that.
Any discussion?
I think, I can tell you if I need to get vaccinated, which I did. I requested to get vaccinated on Thursday. I was vaccinated on Sunday with Johnson & Johnson, and I'm fully vaccinated. Why is there such a delay of 2 months for vaccination?
It's 2 weeks after your last vaccination that you're fully,
14 days.
it's 14 days after your last vaccination that you're actually starting to become immune.
And the majority of our employees are female, and with the problem with the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, I don't know if I would want my wife getting the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. I would, and the Moderna and
Wait, would you
Pfizer
mind closing
are,
the door?
2-shot series a month apart
Thank
from
you,
each
Letty.
other, so.
Is it, I thought it was 2 weeks
28,
apart.
21 days for Pfizer, 28 days for Moderna.
I think it should be common sense at this point.
I think we have very good compliance with residents that are coming in throughout the day.
Okay.
I think the times that we have issues is when we have board meetings specifically. So if they're not required, then elected members or commission members are not feeling compelled to wear them in some instances. And then the employees that are required or the residents that are required to attend that meeting don't necessarily feel comfortable.
I want the employees to feel very comfortable. I mean, that's just where
I like the employees feeling comfortable also. Is there still gonna be an exception to people that have medical
Of course.
exemptions to it. Okay.
Of course.
So, Jonathan, was your motion?
Yeah, yes.
Do we have a second?
I seconded it.
Okay. And no further discussion? Roll call vote. Jonathan?
Aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Bob?
Alright.
And I'm an aye. Okay.
Do you need, does that have to be done in a selectmen's ordinance and all of us sign because it's governance of the town building?
I think that's a good point. Thank you.
Or actually governance of town property?
Lynn Austin resigned from the library trustees, so to fill her seat, they would like Melody Santos, who was just appointed as an alternate, to be named as a full member.
Make a motion.
And then they would like Susan Lunn, appointed as an alternate member.
Make a motion.
Motion to vote?
Second?
No further discussion. Jonathan?
Aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Bob? Aye.
Okay, so I do not have their appointment slips prepared for you, but I'll have them for you when you come in next Tuesday, so
Okay.
you can just sign them, and then that'll still be timely enough for their next meeting.
Are you well done?
I think so now.
Okay.
But we have conservation committee too, for the,
Oh, you have three, right?
three of them. Jessica Balukas, who's, I have a resume here, amazing. I reviewed it, very impressed by her resume. Robin Wrighton, who is currently on the conservation committee, and Brian Silva, who's currently on the conservation committee, so,
All for active members?
active members,
What are their terms, 3 years?
3 years.
Is that a motion?
The motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none? Jonathan?
Aye.
Jonathan?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Bob? Aye. And I'm an aye. Are you done now?
Yes.
Okay. There was, the last note,
We don't have to do that today. This?
yeah, no,
Oh, this?
This.
Yes, okay, sorry.
the last note, the Board of Selectmen correspondence. Somewhere it was posted that we don't read everything that comes in. Is anybody aware that we don't read everything? I mean,
No, I've read everything that has come in.
I read too much, I think.
oh, okay.
I think there's signatures in a lot of the emails too that are printed out from us too, and we,
I think it may have been misconstrued that the board is not supposed to reply all. The board should only reply to Karen. But if somebody sends an email to all of our names, we would get it. But I think that could have been what happened, is, because we had the conversation about us not replying all, because that would
Quorum.
make a meeting just to reply to
Right.
Karen for an email. So that may have been the misunderstanding.
Well, I can tell you this, any that were addressed to me and Karen, I acknowledge receipt. So, I read it, that was the only reason.
And then a lot of those get printed anyway, because I know anything that was sent to me, I was forwarded to Karen, she's like, yeah, we already received it. And I'm like,
I don't acknowledge, I can say I don't acknowledge receipt, just because I read it and it's done.
Okay, all right, well,
I know, maybe I'll
whoever
start
that
doing
individual is or individuals, it's, please accept my apology, we do read everything. And Jonathan was a good example of that this evening.
You're welcome.
I did
You
not
asked
say-
me to read it,
I didn't say thank you, I said.
following your instructions, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, thank you, John.
Yeah.
Any other business?
No.
Oh, it's time to ask the public if you wish to say something.
I have a question.
Yes, Louis?
Lois Dion, Crawley Falls Road. When can Robin pick up her check so she can proceed with the newsletter?
Well, it's only been like 12 minutes.
I know, but you must know when you issue the checks or whatever.
Well, it'll be issued next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday.
Right, Karen will make the request and take care of it.
Okay.
All right? Any other questions? I can't call you Trudy anymore,
No,
Rebecca.
No, this is just for my general information. I know last year, the Historical Society was inquiring whether we could apply for a well and a septic tank. We talked about this at a
I recall, and I remember saying something about a warrant article.
Right, but it's much more complicated for us to go to the planning board, to go to the town engineer. We need some help if we're gonna pursue this, because it's way beyond what we as volunteers can do as far as a septic system. Can we get some help from
someone in the office.
Well, yeah, we'll start with the health officer.
Okay,
We should just come down from the planning board and.
well,
Say
then do
that.
you do the work, or do we
Well,
do the work?
well, we can discuss that as a group.
Okay,
So
we'll do
just
that.
go, just make an appointment at the next meeting, or when it needs to be posted, I think it's 2 or 3 weeks, it needs to be posted, and come down, we'll talk about it, and see what we can do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions? Bill, your one issue about the Board of Adjustment has been resolved, and Casella is considering addressing us for recycling.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you for following up on that. Let me know.
Is there any other questions?
I will come to all the board meetings I can come to.
No, that's okay.
We don't have a time frame for that though, because
Don't think I'm
No.
looking over your shoulder. I'm not doing it. Just a concerned citizen that's considering options down the road.
Okay, we have nothing for non-public.
Correct.
You should inquire if there's any Zoom comments that somebody raised their hand.
Okay.
You got a hand?
We don't have a hand, but we haven't opened the opportunity for a Zoom comment yet, so
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No Zoom comments.
I'll entertain a moment to adjourn.
A moment?
Motion.
Second.
I need a moment. We have a second.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Are you gonna do a roll call vote?
A roll call vote. Jonathan.
Yeah, aye.
Jonathan.
Aye.
Andy.
Aye.
Bob.
Aye.
I'm an aye.
Gotta make sure the windows are shut.